Celebrating Black History Month, a tribute to trailblazing activists and pioneers. Black History Month was started by historian Carter G. Woodson in 1926. There are several organizations that help to celebrate and promote Black History Month, including the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, also known as NAACP, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and the National Black Justice Coalition. Happening Out Television Network is celebrating Black History Month, giving tributes to trailblazing activists and pioneers. Here is a list of famous and notable LGBTQ+ activists who contributed to and supported the Black LGBTQ+ community members and paved the better for them. Ms. Major Griffin-Gracy, a transgender rights activist and veteran of the Stonewall riots. Angela Davis, a feminist, scholar, and political activist known for her activism and advocacy around issues of race, gender, and social justice. Sylvia Rivera, a transgender rights activist and veteran of the Stonewall riots. Marsha P. Johnson, a transgender rights activist and veteran of the Stonewall riots. Bayard Rustin, a civil rights activist and advisor to Martin Luther King Jr., and Audre Lorde, a feminist, poet, and writer known for her activism and advocacy around issues of race, gender, and sexuality. Apart from these names, we celebrate activists like Ruby Corado, Boykin, and Laverne Cox this Black History Month. I have a confession. I did not know anything about Ms. Johnson and all the other trans activists in Stonewall until very late after I had my gay awakening. I mean, I had the whole controversy really blew up when Ronald Emmerich did the Stonewall movie that didn't include any of those.
And how did you feel about that, Bobby? I'm curious for you to literally come out late on your awareness of Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, and then you realize their importance to the LGBT movement. How did you feel about?
Well, I always thirst for knowledge. I mean, as for someone who just loves to learn and curious about information, I like to absorb information. And for me, I find that it's kind of an injustice for these individuals to be ignored or sidelined in the pride narrative for so long. The idea, I'm not going to cast any blame here because it is what it is. But the narrative eventually was not inclusive of these individuals who are judged. Some of them were judged by the color of their skin.
Please give me one more question opportunity. You are a specific face of LGBTQ community that has historically been easily marginalized in America, and you're saying I wasn't aware of race or trans.
When I was reading up gay LGBTQ history, the narrative wasn't there. I was coming out. It was last year, high school, 96, 97. I mean, yes, there was a Stonewall narrative. There was a lot of talk about, history, but not that much. Not that comprehensive. And it was very, very sketched out in a way that, just a bunch of gay guys fighting back against cops who raided a bar. They never mentioned anything about transgender. They did mention some drag queens, if I remember correctly, about the reading material, but never talk about trans. So certainly not talking about the race of the participants.
Or maybe even the specific names. Black History Month important?
Yes. Very important, very important. And I think that we also need to spotlight the folks that are still in our generation or in our lifetime that did so much. Obama, Diana Ross, Janet Jackson, Jesse Jackson, Angela Bassett, Tina Turner, Kevin Aviance for Ballroom. I mean, there's just so many different people that have been trailblazers that are still having to break the ceilings. And here we are in 2023.
Yes, Black history is beyond Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. Well, there's more people.
But that's the thing. It's not taught. Black history in general, and I don't need to tell you this, history in general is not taught, and certainly LGBTQ is not taught. We're in an era of don't say gay in our schools.
John, I've got a great idea. Let's get together, create a platform program. We'll help create an AP honors class.
Oh my God.
Oh, wait.
That would be
Oh,
great.
wait.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That's not history to DeSantis. I'm sorry.
Nope.
The state. Anyway,
The hell?
Sorry, never mind. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
but
Well, I was gonna say we're in the don't say gay and now we're in don't say black, but Al, you stole my bit, so thank you so very much, sir. But it is true. Minority voices have been silenced throughout American
Can we stop
history.
saying minority? Because there's nothing minor about us.
I don't mean black. I mean gay as well. We don't learn
But
historic.
nothing minor
It's
about
all
us.
white.
We
Yes.
use this term minority. And
Lesbians,
yes.
women.
we got to listen to what we say when we say minority. It's saying that the people who are not minority are the majority and we are minority. We're not minority. We're people. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing minor about
Absolutely.
us.
I see
So
that.
marginalized.
marginalized.
You know,
persons.
one last thing that I ask you the questions about it and make the AP class joke. You know, I came here in this summer, will be 5 years that I've come down to South Florida. And I will have to say, in terms of travel, very well traveled, lots of LGBT experience all over the United States, all over the world, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of it. And, you know, most people know that history. Until I came to South Florida, I cannot say that I knew much about really the degrees of Black history for LGBT, much about lesbian conversation, certainly not about the trans community. And so as a result, my response, and been out for a much longer period of time than you, know about Stonewall, but all I know is that there's a riot at Stonewall, and that's the initiation of the civil rights movement. Sylvia Rivera, who? And Marsha P. Johnson's what? Those people as women of color and the trans experience and how that initiates the LGBT rights movement in America, I have to say, and in a very regretful way, I had basically no understanding of. And now, almost 5 years later, I realized that I was moving in a circle of gay white privilege that I had no desire to learn anything about it. And unless we have that commitment to do that automatically, which we don't, or it to be taught in schools, which it won't, a Black History Month and a focus of Black history, especially as it relates for our communities of LGBT, is vitally important, because there are 16-year-olds right now that have never heard of Marsha P. Johnson, ever, and have no understanding of why they're so important to them. So we have an obligation in this month to, it sets it on a calendar and
Not
it's
just
kind of
this month,
mechanical.
every day.
Right.
306 Black history is 365 days of the year. We can't just confine it to one single month. And then when March comes, we move on to something else. It's every single
We're going to
day.
move on to
We've been
women
here.
in March, by the way.
We've been here.
I hear that loud and clear. It's an intention commitment. We have to start someplace. And I am the living proof of it. I talk about our marginalized communities inside LGBT all the time. And that is only because I had to learn. And that's why Black History Month for LGBT is so important for our community.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.